Today we're talking about a collection of fragrances from the house of La Perla. So I decided to order this fragrance collection. I didn't buy the big bottles because I have not gotten to smell this in person. I have not seen any reviews in depth to the entire collection. It's a pretty pricey line. It's their quote unquote luxury line itself. This range is priced at 30 mils or 1 ounce for 120 US dollars, or 120 mils and 4 ounces for 340 US dollars. So pretty pricey, pretty expensive, pretty premium. Let's see if it's worth it or if it's not worth the price point. So this is what the collection looks like. Oh, yay, it's so pretty. No, actually, this is a sampler kit that they actually do offer for 30 US dollars. You can get this guy and they will ship it to you. Fairly nice because you get to try every single one in the collection. And, they come in these little cute little vials that look like this. It is very nice because, like I said, you get to try every single one in the collection to see which one you bond with a little bit better, which one you don't like, which one you might like most, because they kind of have a wide range of really light fragrances to very heavier, more nighttime kind of dinner type of scents. So the first one we have here is Invisible Touch. This bottle is a pink bottle with a yellowish type of lid on the top. They are very reminiscent of Tom Ford bottles or a Killian bottle, at least their decant size, because if you've ever seen a Tom Ford bottle or a Killian bottle, they typically have that round top and they're usually more squared off. This one looks to be like they are round, fully around on the bottle itself, and then they have a round top as well. This fragrance actually contains aldehydes, bergamot, pink pepper, violet, ylang ylang, paradisian, rose, sobreliette, and brox, benzoin, and patchouli. So this fragrance itself to me kind of smells a little bit like Huggies baby wipes. I did test these when they first arrived. I did write some notes on my first impressions. One of the notes that I wrote is smells very similar to baby wipes, and that's a little sad to say because it is a very expensive fragrance and I'm not sure who in their right mind would want to smell like baby wipes, or at least Huggy baby wipes. It does have aldehydes in it, but it's not necessarily going to be like a Chanel number 5 or Chanel number 5 Lower or Eau de Premier. It's going to be more of a baby powder-ish type of vibe. I would say that this one itself is one of my least favorite in this line. And before I actually go into the rest of them, I want to give a quick disclaimer. If you love this line, I am sorry. I'm going to go pretty hard on it today because they are very expensive. They are up there in price. A little backstory of La Perla, they are a lingerie line, so I understand the philosophy of these fragrances. They are meant to be worn more, intimately, softer, more gentle type of fragrances. With that being said, for the price point that they are charging, they should be fragrances that are unique enough for the price point that they are charging. That way they can justify it. I get that everyone has different vibes and different, styles that they want to wear in fragrance. But with that being said, whenever you're charging a price point that you are charging here, your fragrance should be unique, sophisticated, and different enough to reckon that price. The next one we have is Via Sorrento. This one is a bottle that is a kind of frosty greenish color. It does have a nice blue lid at the top itself. The notes for this one are going to be grapefruit, lemon, green mandarin, blood orange, neroli, petitgrain, orange blossom, musk, and ambroxan. This fragrance to me is very much reminiscent of a Tom Ford Neroli Portofino. Obviously, Tom Ford Neroli Portofino shares a note of neroli in this fragrance. You're going to see a trend here. They kind of smell like other fragrances. They might be lighter, more wearable versions, I suppose. This one itself is just a little bit youthful. It's a little bit more youthful than what Neroli Portofino would be. However, with that being said, Neroli Portofino itself is a very sophisticated scent. It does have grandma vibes if you do not know how to wear it properly, or if it doesn't fit your actual lifestyle or your vibe or your personality. It can come off a little bit grandma-ish. This one doesn't have that problem, but it is a kind of dupe, if you will. So for that one itself, if you like Tom Ford's Neroli Portofino, it might be cheaper to get this one. It's clean, it's crisp, it's neroli, it's aquatic. It is by the Italian coast. It's a so-so type of fragrance, I guess. You know, the thing about this fragrance is that because it smells like something else, I don't really appreciate it that much. But if it's going to be a dupe, I suppose it's doing it right. So for the price that you're paying, again, it's supposed to be something that's a little bit more unique, but it kind of comes off as a Neroli Portofino dupe, if you will. Longevity on this one would be anywhere from 3 to 4 hours. It's not going to be a powerhouse. Just so you do know, all of these are Eau de Parfum fragrances, and they're supposed to, you know, be semi good wearing. La Perla itself does have good longevity, like their Eau de Parfum fragrance does last all day and all night. These themselves, they're okay. They're not terrible. They're not as bad as other fragrance houses, but they are not necessarily the best. The next one we have here, it is My Day. This one is probably one of the ones that I actually do like. It is light. It's going to be clean. The bottle itself looks just like Invisible Touch, although it has a purple lid up top. The notes for this fragrance are mandarin orange, orange blossom, calabrian bergamot, carrot seed, pink pepper, orris root, Egyptian jasmine, osmanthus, anise, tuberose, ylang-ylang, iris, sandalwood, cashmere, cedarwood, tonka bean, and vetiver. So quite a bit of notes in this fragrance. There's a lot in here to digest. Overall, this fragrance to me kind of smells like Chanel Number 5 Low. Not as good, not as refined, not as sophisticated, but it does give off Number 5 vibes. And it's a little surprising because this one doesn't actually contain any aldehydes in it, according to the note breakdown itself. It does have a very aldehydic type of smell to it, but it does kind of come off a little bit softer. So it's a softer aldehyde with lots of citrus, lots of woodsy elements to it. It is a really nice fragrance overall. I wouldn't say that it is extremely unique to the point where they should be charging the price that they are charging, but I would say that the fragrance itself is nice enough to justify you wearing it or trying it. It is one of the nicer fragrances in this range, I would say so myself. Like I said, it has that Chanel Number 5 Low type of vibe, but it's a little bit softer, more delicate. And I think it's more delicate because it has notes like bergamot in here, it has notes like orris in here, that really kind of soften the edge of this fragrance overall. Next one we have here is About That Night. This fragrance itself is going to be in a blue type of bottle. It does have a pink lid up top, so it's very like sophisticated Victoria's Secret bottle, if you will. The fragrance itself contains mandarin, bergamot, coriander seed, lavender, lemon, iris, jasmine, osmanthus, orange blossom, rose, patchouli, musk, sandalwood, benzoin, Mexican vanilla, oak wood, tonka bean, and vetiver. So there are quite a bit of notes in this fragrance as well. So this fragrance, when I first got it, and my first impression of this fragrance, I was not very much impressed. It kind of smells like something you can get at your Joe Schmo shop at Victoria's Secret, Bath and Body Works. It smells to me, and I wrote this in the notes itself, like if you were to walk into a perfume department and you were to have all of those fragrances kind of mix in the air and you walk in and it kind of has that overwhelming perfume vibe. To some people, I like that vibe. Some people don't. So it kind of smells like a perfume department would when you walk into it. It is very feminine. It is sophisticated. But it's not going to be something that is extremely over the top. It's not going to be something extremely unique enough for you to go ahead and justify, again, the price point for this. Once it dries down, it does have a vanilla heart to it with lots of floral touches. I do like that about it. It does seem a little bit nicer when it comes to that. But there's kind of this vibe in this fragrance that kind of reminds me of, you know, very popular fragrances such as My Way by Giorgio Armani, Monterey by Yves Saint Laurent. I don't know itself if this is trying to replicate anything else or if it's just following that trend of like a vanilla type of floral sweet type of fragrance that's very popular in today's market. I personally don't care for those fragrances myself, and I'm sorry if I offend anyone. Those fragrances kind of seem like they are all made in the same lab at the same factory on the same assembly, which Armani, Valentino, and Yves Saint Laurent are. But there are a lot of other brands that also manufacture fragrances that smell just like that, and the trend is kind of like old at this point. It's been going on since 2015. We need to find a new fragrance trend to follow. The next one we have is Once Upon a Garden. Now, this one itself is exactly as the name does give you as description. It's not going to smell like anything else per se. The bottle for this one is going to be exactly the same as the prior one, except it's going to have an orange type of yellow lid at the top. The notes for this fragrance are going to be mandarin orange, pink pepper, spearmint, sweet pea, raspberry leaf, rose, patchouli, moss, and amber toxin. That's what is listed on here. This fragrance itself is very green. It does have a very nice soft green element that comes through in the back. So this fragrance itself, I would describe it if you were in an actual rose garden. Whenever you see a rose when it's a baby, it's still kind of greenish, kind of has a rose scent mixed with a plant or a rose stem type of smell. That is exactly how this fragrance smells. So if you like, a greener type of floral type of fragrance itself, I would certainly say that this one is for you. It's a little green, it's a little sharp, it's a little tart because that's what it's supposed to smell like. And I think that's because of the moss in here. The moss really kind of gives it a contrast and a balance. I would say that this one is one of the ones to check out and try out if you like mossy type of fragrances. If you like rose, it kind of just smells like a really nice, expensive cocktail at one of those very fancy bars. The next one we have is Let the Dance Begin. This fragrance kind of resembles a fragrance by the house of Estee Lauder, and the one that it kind of smells like is Infinite Sky. This is part of their luxury collection by Estee Lauder. I believe they're around the same price point. You can probably find this one pretty heavily discounted, something you won't be able to find the La Perla fragrance as. If you like this one, it is a soft type of sweet type of fragrance itself. It has lots of wood elements to it. It has lots of spice to it. It has quite a bit of softer elements to it as well. It's a little bit heavier, if you will. It's very into the woods itself, so it's very much into its tonka bean, it's very much into its cedar wood, into its patchouli. So if this is something that is your vibe, then I would certainly say to check out Let the Dance Begin. The bottles for this one are going to be in a red type of bottle, and then they're going to have a lid that kind of goes with each fragrance itself. This one has a green lid up top. This fragrance does contain Divana, orange blossom, orange, black pepper, bergamot, cardamom, lemon, pink pepper, ylang ylang, caramel. It has geranium, tuberose, Damascus rose, cinnamon, cashmere, sandalwood, tonka bean, patchouli, and cedarwood. So again, a lot of notes in this fragrance itself. The next one we have is Possibilities, and this one has a gold lid with a red bottle. The notes for this one are going to be freesia, black currant, pink pepper, rose water, rose absolute, orange blossom. It's going to have a couple of synthetic notes in here that I cannot pronounce, as well as cashmere, Mexican vanilla, and amber. So with that being said, this fragrance to me smells very similar to, again, another fragrance that's out on the market that's very popular as well. This smells a lot like Thierry Mugler's Alien, and it's a lighter, more youthful version of Alien, I would say. I mean that's up to you to decide. I think that it's almost a 1-to-1. I would say it's kind of a dupe, but Alien is cheaper than this. So it's like, why would I pay more for a bottle that I can get the original smell? Now, what I will say about this one is that it has softer touches to it. Sure, it's a lighter version, just like the previous one. We're getting the lighter version of it, but it has that very floral sweet type of touch to it itself. So if you like Thierry Mugler's Angel, but again, you're looking for something that's lighter, more wearable, more daytime friendly, then I would certainly say to check this one out. Possibilities by La Perla. And the last one we have here today is Just Give Me Roses. And this bottle is going to be a red bottle. Again, it's going to have a gray type of top itself. The notes on this fragrance are going to be saffron, black pepper, pink pepper, Bulgarian Damascus rose, Turkish rose, amber, vanilla, Virginian cedarwood, musk, and tobacco. This fragrance smells a little bit like Musk Nobel by Guerlain, which is part of their Orient collection itself, which is this guy here. If you actually compare the notes, they share almost all of the same notes. The difference being is that this one that is by La Perla is going to have tobacco in it. It gives it a little bit more of a, sweeter type of vibe to it. But overall, they actually smell very similar to each other. So I would say that if you like this type of fragrance, which is very oriental, very soft and smoky with touches of floral and rose and musk in it, then you would certainly like this one by La Perla. Well, that was our overview of this entire range of fragrances. What do you think about them? Have you tried them? If you like them, let me know what you like about them, because I don't think they're bad fragrances. I think they're very expensive fragrances, And because they're so expensive, they kind of have to be held to a microscope because you're like, why should I give them my money versus buying the original ones? And this is very sad because this fragrance line kind of comes off as a dupe collection. I'm not sure if that was their intent with this line or if they were trying to create original pieces, but a lot of it came off as, I'm going to recreate and reinterpret this fragrance and, sell it under a premium price tag, which to me, it's just a little lazy. So definitely let me know your thoughts down below. Make sure to give the video a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe for more fragrance related content. And I hope to see you guys on the next video. Bye.